And around she goes into Kenson.
Oh, gosh.
Up in the air and into the wall hard.
Man,
As soon as it does, it's almost like that wing acts as to help to lift the car up. Lands on Kevin Harvick's hood.
Are these birds? NASCAR is a track event, but from time to time we see airborne vehicles. And no, they are not having an AI race. They are flying out of control. Here are some of the craziest and greatest airborne crashes NASCAR fans have ever witnessed. Matt Snyder's Daytona last lap crash. On the final lap of the season opening beef, It's What's for Dinner 300, Snyder's number 31 Chevrolet collided with the outside wall. Snyder was involved in a pileup on the backstretch as drivers fought for position at the finish line. They all ended up crashing into the outside wall. Just as his car was about to crash into the wall, another car ran into him, flipping the back end of his vehicle into the air. That launched Snyder's car into the catch fence above the wall, where the cables sheared off pieces of the vehicle. Austin Hill sped to the front of the pack to win the race, but not before the back half of his car was completely ripped apart. Matt Snyder's car was completely dismantled, including the engine and the rear axle. After Snyder's engine was ripped from the car, it skidded across the track and collided with Matt Mills' vehicle. Austin Dillon's insane flip at Daytona. In the 2015 July Cup Series race, Austin Dillon's car crashed through the front stretch catch fence. Austin Dillon was the catalyst for a multi-car collision that sent him careening into the catch fence. His car looked like a total wreck. The crowd went silent the instant Dillon's car went flying, just behind the finish line. Everyone was horrified to see Dillon still inside his overturned number 3 Chevrolet. Dillon's car went flying over the 2 lanes of traffic and into the catch fence after the chaotic collision. When Dillon was knocked upside down, his car was hit from the side by another vehicle. A few spectators were also hurt in the area around the catch fence. Elliott Sadler's wild flips in 2003. In the final laps, there was a 3x3x3 pack, and Michael Waltrip was weaving. Sadler made contact with Busch and went flying down the track, landing in the grass at the base of turn 3. After the incident, he would be all right. Brad Keselowski flips. In the closing stages of the race of Atlanta Motor Speedway in March 2010, Edwards deliberately took out Keselowski. Keselowski, driving the number 12 Dodge for Penske Racing, is sent flying, just like Edwards was in the Talladega race, effectively ending his chances of finishing in the top 10. During a race at 195 miles per hour, Edwards intentionally spun Keselowski in his Dodge while the 2 drivers were running nose to tail. Keselowski reversed direction and bolted, narrowly avoiding the barrier on his way back to the track. Ryan Newman's crazy flip at 2003 Daytona 500. As they race around the track at full speed, everything appears to be in order. As quickly as it happened, Newman's wheel came off, sending him flying through the air and causing his car to shatter into pieces as he flipped across the inside field of the track. Just before the entrance to pit road, Newman's car had made contact with Ken Schrader's vehicle, which caused both drivers to crash into the outside wall. The right rear tire on Newman's number 12 car was knocked off, after which the car began to take flight as soon as it made contact with the infield grass. Newman's car flipped 4 times before coming to a stop on its roof. Clint Bowyer's high-flying barrel roll at Daytona. During this tense segment of the race, one of the announcers comments on Bowyer's airborne car by saying, he got enough airtime to qualify for his pilot's license. It appears that Bowyer was involved in a crazy accident, but he didn't let it slow him down and he finished the race shortly after it occurred. Someone once said, what's the essence of NASCAR races without crashes? These crashes are mostly airborne. On the very last lap of the drive for COPD 300, Kyle Larson's Chevrolet was involved in a collision that sent it flying into the front stretch catch fence at Daytona International Speedway. Regan Smith, the leader, attempted to block a move by Brad Keselowski off turn 4, which resulted in the accident. A tire in the engine of Larson's vehicle crossed over to the grandstand side of the catch fence during the 12-car collision. By moving to the bottom of the apron and crossing the finish line under a caution flag, Tony was able to avoid the collision. Many spectators were hurt, some of them seriously, when a shower of debris from the wrecked car of young driver Kyle Larson, who was involved in a multi-car collision, flew up into the grandstands. In order to reach the walkway just a few steps from the front row of seats, the engine from Larson's car passed through the steel cables, forming the catch fence. Over the succeeding rows, various other shrapnel-like fragments kept ascending. Carl Edwards' crash at Talladega. NASCAR fans' memories of the last lap of this race go back 2 seasons. Carl Edwards, who has led all but one lap of the spring race at Talladega, is attempting to prevent Brad Keselowski, who has made only 5 Sprint Cup starts, from pulling off a major upset by winning the race. Keselowski tries to make the pass by slipping under a closing Edwards in the bottom groove, but instead sends the number 99 Ford skyward. During the final lap, Carl Edwards' car jumped the track and crashed into the barrier. Edwards avoided injury and crossed the finish line in first place. The wrecked race car Edwards climbed out of and crossed the finish line and on foot prompted him to rail against the racing style at Talladega and Daytona. Dale Earnhardt's Daytona flip in 1997. For the first time in his career, Earnhardt was in second place behind Bill Elliott with only 12 laps remaining in the Daytona 500. However, Jeff Gordon's third place car got underneath Earnhardt's number 3 Chevy as the pack exited turn 2, forcing Earnhardt into the outside wall. The momentum of Earnhardt's car sent him careening back down the track, directly into the path of an oncoming Dale Jarrett, who collided with the back of Earnhardt's car, flipping him over and sending him crashing into the outside wall. The Intimidator's vehicle flipped and landed on its wheels in the grass on the inside of the back straightaway. Earnhardt exited his vehicle and entered the waiting emergency vehicle. As he watched from the ambulance, however, he saw that the track crew had left the wheels on his car when they hooked it up to the wrecker. Earnhardt suddenly leaped from the ambulance, helmet in hand. He orders the wrecker crew to remove his vehicle, then climbs back into the wrecked vehicle, puts on his helmet, and starts it up. Earnhardt's team was able to fix the car enough in pit lane to send it back out onto the track. Earnhardt ended up finishing the race in 31st place, 5 laps behind the winner, Jeff Gordon. Joey Logano's spin out in Talladega. On Sunday at Talladega Superspeedway, Joey Logano experienced a wild and terrifying ride when he was involved in a collision, turned on his side, and slid down his track before standing back up. While Stenhouse's in the number 47 Chevrolet was on Hamlin's bumper, Logano in the number 11 Toyota was pushed up to Blaney's number 12 Ford's rear bumper. Sandwiched between the 2 competitors at the front of the field, Hamlin moved from the outside of the lane to the inside, at which point Stenhouse seemingly made contact with him, transforming him into Logano and starting a terrifying chain of events. Logano's car flipped, went airborne, and was headed straight for Bubba Wallace in the number 23 Toyota. Eric Jones goes airborne in Kansas. After losing control of his vehicle and making contact with Daniel Suarez, which precipitated a severe multi-car collision, Eric Jones came dangerously close to rolling over. Jones finished in 35th place as a result of the 14-car accident that occurred coming off turn 2 on lap 267. Joey Coulter goes airborne in 2012 NASCAR Camping Series. During the final lap of the 2012 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Next Era Energy Resources 250 finish, Joey Coulter got airborne. During the Camping World Truck Series race in Daytona, Joey Coulter was also responsible for tearing the fence to pieces. 2 spectators were hurt, with one of them requiring medical attention at a hospital. 2002 Aaron's 312 car wreck at Talladega. Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama, played host to the NASCAR Busch Series stock car race known as the Aaron's 312 at Talladega on April 20th, 2002. The race was part of the Busch Series. While Jason Keller of PPC Racing took first place in the race, Richard Childress Racing's Johnny Sauter won the starting position on the front row. However, the race is remembered for having the most significant accident in the history of modern NASCAR, which occurred early on in the race and caused the elimination of almost 3/4 of the field.